Peace, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Soli, the spiritual advisor. And here, every video I create is dedicated to the expansion of your awareness. Now, today I have my lovely friend, dhuwana. And hey, dhuwana, you can, say hi or something.
Hello.
So today, me
Hi.
and dhuwana, we will be, in a sense, discussing spiritual growth, and how we awoken in a sense. Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for you, in a sense, to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself first.
Sure. I'm dhuwana. I actually have a platform for dhuwana intuitive healing. I do have a YouTube, and I am a spiritual advisor. And right now, I'm really joining in with you solely so we can speak about spiritual growth and spiritual healing.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what I do through intuitive healing. I'm an empath, psychic, and also I do some mediumship.
Yeah. So wait, what exactly is intuitive healing?
Intuitive healing is actually stepping within your inner self to connect with your higher self. But it's going deep within. It's almost like going through the dark night of the soul for some people. That's what it
Mhm.
was for me. So it's actually healing the inner child within. So it's understanding that you go through experiences, but you're not the experience. You should connect with the experience, connect with the people in the experience, but use that experience as a tool to heal. So you ask yourself, what was the lesson through that particular process when I went through that experience as a child? So it's like
Mhm.
peeling layers and layers and layers to bring your soul back to recovery, to resonate with your original soul self. Therefore, you grow into your higher self.
Yeah. That was beautifully put, and yeah, that's real. It is really layers upon layers upon layers. And I remember I had this conversation with a friend way back. We were talking about healing the child within, and just talking about how it's very important, because it's like all of us. The thing about age, in a sense, is it has kind of confused us, because a lot of people think with age comes maturity, but the reality of it is a lot of us, in a sense, are just children but in adult bodies, because we have yet to, in a sense, go within and heal that inner child, because your adult life, or your future life, however you want to perceive it, is
Mhm.
dedicated or prededicated to your past life. So your childhood and the experiences within your childhood, they in a sense make up your life in the future. So I think what you're doing is very valid and very necessary.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so and it's a journey. Forever as an adult, I always felt like I was still a child, right? Within, I always felt like I had the spirit of a child at heart. But when you really tap into that feeling, it's those wounds that you tend to ignore, or you press down within because people tell you that you should just move past it, right? Or that
Mhm.
was a long time ago, you should just move forward. But you're really not moving forward. It's a form of trickery because you allow the subconscious mind to continue to run that same program over and over and
Mhm.
over. And now you're no longer understanding that you're worthy. So you're not living in the abundance of your true birthright. So when you start healing the inner child, you start realizing I am worthy. But you start peeling back the layers as to why you thought you wasn't worthy. Because in order
Mhm.
for you to truly operate in your birthright, you have to understand that you're worthy.
Yeah, facts. And that's the thing too that a lot of people don't understand, is the subconscious mind. It's very vital and important. And I'm definitely gonna make a video on the subconscious mind on my channel, because it's very important, right? And yeah, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you, in a sense, suppress and push back emotions, those emotions, and experience traumatic experiences, they in a sense start to take up a life of their own, and then not to mention chakras. The chakras, they're discs, and our emotions, they're stored within the sacral chakra and the solar plexus. I mean, well, the lower chakras, I'll just say, right? And it's like when we have these experiences, these
Mhm.
emotions and traumas in a sense have this ability to in a sense take up a life of their own, I guess you can kind of say. And now it's like this person is kind of stuck in this repetitive cycle, and they don't really know what is wrong with them. But
Right.
it's like
Mhm.
literally anything can be resolved by you just going back to your past, just by you just going back to when you were a child, right? And resolving that, and things of that nature. But so I guess the next question I would like to ask you, and then I'll share my perspective or my story as well, is in a sense your spiritual awakening. So how did you get into spirituality? And yeah.
So my spiritual awakening, the process started really so as a child, I understood like I can feel people energy, but I may not necessarily understood what was going on. I can feel when someone was blocking me or they didn't have the attachment that they should have, and it usually happened within the bloodline, within the home, because as starseeds we usually, well, we pick the family, that we're born into or we're reincarnated into, so we can learn those soul lessons. So it's like I knew things about people as a child. And in the school system, I always felt like it was something that wasn't quite right. I always wanted to like break the rules and just stand up for people who I felt like were being taken advantage of in any system. And I start having like visions of things coming to reality. In my late teens, I actually started some bipolar meds, and I believe it opened my third eye even more. So I was having dreams and visions of people that I was attached to. I can see what they were doing in my dream state. And then one day, in my late teens, early 20s, I drove to someone's location where they were and they had moved, and I wasn't even sure that they actually lived there. I didn't even know that city well, but I just happened to end up at their doorstep. So I knew at that point it was something else going on within me. And then a couple of years later, I had an awakening of Christ consciousness coming to me and letting me know that I had to give up an empath or a healer. So throughout my 20s and my 30s, I was experiencing different divine dreams and different divine revelations of different higher beings or angelic beings coming to me and giving me the awareness that I had certain codes that need to be activated within my DNA. So I'm married. My husband and I went through a shift, and we had to go through a healing process together. And he's actually my twin flame. So that shift made me come to the awareness at a soul level that there's so much more that I need to be doing. So once I decided to hone in that energy and focus on the one that there's a higher purpose for you, I started alleviating TV shows, music, certain foods, and I really connected to my higher self through a light body. So I was no longer eating processed foods. I cut out the meat. I had a very light diet. I did a lot of vibrational tones. And at that point, it really connected me to this life path that I'm on right now. So it was really awakening through my husband needing to go through healing, and I need to go through healing. And actually, it really started in 2018 because there was a karmic shift due to the planetary shifts that it actually brought in a cycle where we would choose to heal ourselves or continue another 7 to 10 year shift, walking in the awareness of you need to heal yourself, but you refuse to heal yourself. And I chose to start healing myself.
Yeah, that's interesting. You said 2018. I came, yeah, possibly, who knows? But yeah, that's very interesting. I guess one of the things I caught up on was you mentioned, Christ consciousness. What is Christ consciousness to you exactly?
Well, for me, Christ consciousness, because I was raised in a Baptist church.
Mhm.
So for me, Christ consciousness, I was actually visited by Jesus himself, and he baptized me in an actual river or a lake alongside two red brick mountains. And when he put his hand over my chest, this was in a dream like vision state. He put his hand over my chest, and there was a orange yellowish glow. Mind you, at this time I was in jail. I was 22. I was in jail for like a month. At the time I was self-medicating myself, so I got caught with some marijuana. And there's a Bible study group um, in the area that I was in, and I would read the Bible, and I just happened to go to sleep right after reading the Bible and really studying the Bible. And at that point, that's when I had the dream. So I woke up, and Spirit prompted me. Spirit said, "The one open up the Bible." So I opened up the Bible, and the first page I turned it to, it spoke of red brick mountains and a river flowing through. So that gave me confirmation, because when I was baptized in a dream, the first thing that was said was, "You are worthy." And that brought me back to the mindset of the intuitive healing process, healing the inner child and knowing that you're worthy. Through that worthiness, I was able to understand my gifts that were given to me on a spiritual level.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So the Bible, it's like the thing about the Bible is the thing about religion. Actually, I should say is I think
Right,
religion is beautiful as a tool, but when
right,
you start being used by the tool, because a lot of people, they get used by religion. They don't really. They're like under religion. I don't know if you've seen that meme with like the fish in the bowl, and that's like religion, and
right.
this big old sea. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of people. But I think religion can,
Right, right,
yeah, like I think religion can teach us stuff, but not when we are in a sense underneath it. We have to overstand. There's like whoever whoever
right.
whoever came up with that term overstanding. They were getting at something. um, yeah. Okay. So
Yep. Overstanding and understanding. So
yeah,
true.
exactly. So with me, I know that ultimately my spiritual awakening really happened after my near-death experience. Like I feel like that was when I was full on awake. But, I mean, before that, I was like watching Ralph Smart, when I was like 13 years old and things of that nature. But yeah, I really feel like when I was 14, well, when I was 15, 16 was when I truly awoken, because before that, I was that kid who would smoke cannabis all the time, and I I technically flunked eighth grade, but it was interesting. It was funny because I was thinking about this story too, right? So when I was in eighth grade,
Mhm.
I kind of got in trouble at school, and I got expelled, right? I got expelled from school, and then I was actually sent to this like school that was like a second chance, and I didn't even really try there. So then what happened was, I technically failed, but it was like the middle of summer.
Right.
That day, I was like super stoned, and I was kind of in trouble. So my dad, got me in my room or whatever, and then he told me like, we gotta go to your school. I was like, what the heck? It's summer, right? So I go to the school, and the school is like, the lady, my teacher, she was like, so you actually didn't make it to high school. You failed, but I can't do nothing because it's summer. Something she said something like that. So I was like technically saved or whatever. um, yeah. So I wouldn't say
Right.
I was as spiritual, even though I was highly aware of spirituality. But I wouldn't say I was as spiritual when I was younger, like
Right.
13. But yeah. So after my near-death experience, because I had that
Mhm.
that experience on the other side. I'm not sure if you've seen my video on my near-death experience. Did you see it or you did?
Yeah, I did.
Uh, okay, cool. So
Yes,
you
it was very interesting. And yeah, 'cause I love to experience those type of stories and the emotion behind it. Because
yeah.
I mean, it's very intriguing for me. And being a person that's tried to commit suicide. Suffering due to the mindset that I was bipolar, but really it was just
Hmm.
me picking up on other people's energies. Um, so like I'm intrigued with near death experiences. So yeah, that was quite intriguing.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, and I agree. It's like there's so much stuff that the medical industry labels as a disorder, when in actuality it's like your spiritual gift just coming in. Like for example, in um, indigenous cultures, or just like cultures that are more connected to, nature, and they have shamans and things of that nature. They approach disorders from a complete different perspective. They see disorders like
Right.
mental disorders as, in a sense, psychic gifts coming in that, in a sense, aren't yet to be balanced, if that makes sense. Like this psychic entity or energy is coming within you, but you are, in a sense, out of balance, out of whack, so you don't know what to do with it. And these shamans, in a sense, they kind of do work on you and healings on you, and then you integrate with yours, with that psychic ability, and it's like there's stories, like there's this one kid who, I'm not sure what the disorder was, but it was terrible, right? And he was just screwed. Doctor said he was
Right.
screwed. Yeah. And so what happened was his mother heard about this shaman, and rumors that the shaman can help him. So they go to Africa for like 3 months, and this kid was suffering for 12 years, right? And within those 3 months, I think it was like three
Right.
months or 1 year, he healed, right? Tremendously. Just, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
It's so true. So true. I mean, because and that brought me to like crystal healing also, working with crystals. For a long time it was in me, but because I was raised in church, and you're told certain things when you're in the understand to a certain extent, right? Because you've been
mhm.
told they can pick up bad energies and you can open up doors that you don't need to open. So now you're afraid of your gift, right? So I struggled with that for a long time. I mean, I'm 40 now, and this process started when I was 39, where I just really said, okay, I'm, I'm going to do something about who I truly am. And, I have native tea leaves. And I didn't find this out until I reached out that seedings. And then and she told me, yeah. And then she told me she used to read tea leaves. So that, I mean, so, right. So, and I wonder, like, with you, because I know you do tarot.
Damn.
Wow. What
You
happened?
bad? My bad. The call dropped. Last thing I got was tarot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. It's most likely me.
Okay. Did you were you able to catch my question about
So
tarot?
I just know you said tarot, and then yeah, I didn't get what you said after tarot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was wondering, is that a gift that's passed down through the bloodline of your family? Do anybody else practice tarot? Because I know you do. So I was wondering, like, kind of intrigued where the gift come from as far as you
Yeah.
practicing tarot.
Okay, so in regards to like my family, um, I was, born into like a religious Islamic family, so for the most part, I was studying with Muslim and things of that nature, and I do think it's an intriguing, like religion, very interesting, most
Mm-hmm.
definitely, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I always had questions and just certain things didn't make sense to me, and it's so funny because I was thinking about this too earlier. Because it's like me, I'm spiritual, my family are religious, so they kind of do have issues, even this, like they'd say this is satanic, this crystal energy thing. But yes, and I was just thinking like how as humans we all have different tastes, right? Like some people like to
Right.
eat meals, right? And I was thinking like, yo, it only makes like in that to me it was like that's why religion doesn't make sense because religion is like this and it's for everyone, right? And it's like people accept that, but people say like everyone eats differently, right? But it's like so to me it just doesn't make sense that you would accept religion, but you wouldn't but it's like contradictive. It's like contradicting it's contradicting, right?
Right. It's truly counterintuitive, right? Like It's like when when you start putting the puzzle pieces together, because even within religion, there's many rituals that's being done, and when
Mhm.
we choose to speak, that's we're creating spells and magic with our words. So
Facts.
I feel that a lot of people cause certain terms of words to place fear, just because of the programming. So if they hear the word magic or they hear the word spell, they're like, oh my God.
Mhm.
It kind of take them back, um, when you're set up in a religious based system versus spirituality. And I feel like spirituality is a true form of living within higher self, right? Not having to explain why you do what you do, why you feel connected to the earth and nature, and the solar system. Having to constantly explain why you choose to operate in your gifts, unless that's what you choose to do. But you no longer feel like you have to explain yourself, right? You have to make people understand like who you are. You just exist with who you know you are. And through that, you live in your authenticity, right? And you're able to spread that light and you attract those who are on the same vibrational frequency as you.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely know what you're saying. And yeah, this is very true. Like I know for a fact, Christianity, they have a lot of rituals and things of that nature as well. And it's like, man, that never, and it's like funny because I don't know where I heard this, but somewhere, right? I heard like that. Well, everyone knows that religion is a business, right? And they're like, religion is a business, and they sell you hope. They're like a business that, in a sense, sell you hope and reason to live, like because that's all religion is for. It's like they kind of profit off of the
Hmm.
people's ignorance and people's desire to belong, and they're like, come over here. But yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
it's crazy. It's like my name is Saleh, right? This is the name I was in since given. And it's crazy because behind that name, it explains me. But that's because, names hold vibrations, and the name you are is the vibration that you're constantly being emitted. Because everyone is like, Kalia, I mean, Dhuwana, everyone's like saying your name. So that's like, in a sense, the vibration that you respond to.
Right.
And so, yeah, so it's like, whatever thing,
Hmm.
hello? Yo, my bad. I don't know what's going on. This never usually happens. But yeah, so it's a vibration, and like
Can you
people
hear?
call you. Yeah, you're good. I hear you. So, I have an uncle, right? And his name is also Saleh, my name. And my dad would tell me like, your uncle, he was the only one who did the things you did. And I just thought that that's very interesting that his name is
Hmm.
my name. But for the most part, like in Africa, like I guess in certain places, ritualism, Voodooism, because the African people, our element, because every race in a sense is connected to like an element, if that makes sense. I know that what's gonna call it the the Eastern, like Chinese and things of that nature are connected to the air element. And I think the natives were connected to the fire element, and the Africans are connected to the water element. And as you know, your water sign. So as you know, water is very spiritual, very intuitive, and so technically it's like spirituality in a sense originated from, in a sense, Africa, if you get what I mean. Um, but yeah, so there are certain places where they study that, but then there's other places where they look down upon that and it's evil because it's like they colonize a lot of Africa, and they indoctrinate a lot of people under religion as well. So people think it's the devil's work, but Yeah, like where I'm from, to a degree, like not everywhere, but in certain places they do see that as evil, I guess you can kind of say. So I never really got the opportunity to study my family tree like that and like be open and talk about it, except for like just my awareness that my uncle practiced it or whatever. But I'm also aware that I actually have like Egyptian DNA or like um my ancestors are Egyptian, if that makes sense. My dad's my
Mm-hmm.
dad's my dad's grandmother was Egyptian. So yeah, I get that from him. And
Mm-hmm.
Egyptian was known to be the land of magic or something like that, right? So I'm pretty sure that me being here and doing this connects with that, and it's like I also have this tremendous, connection with thought as well. Thought, the Woody. But yeah, how about you? How about yourself?
Right. I mean, I feel my connection with Egypt through past life experiences, if that makes sense. So I totally get that. Like I totally resonate with the high priestess and priest, within oneself, and that's truly connecting, like to the stars, right? Connecting with something outside of you, but actually it's within you. Just understanding that universal consciousness. So for me, like within my family, like it's all religion based. It's a religion based system. Um, like for instance, my dad saw that I had some cards, and he was like, "You're not channeling those spirits, are you?" I'm just like, So it's hard to explain, what it truly is if a person have a wall up, right? Because they really don't get it, and that's like part of the awakening process and the awakening experience. It's like an initiation in a sense, right? You don't necessarily pick it, but it picks you. And I truly believe that has a lot to do with your soul evolution and the life lessons that you actually go through in life through each soul journey, for each reincarnation that you go through. So I truly believe everybody's probably not here at this point in time to reach that soul evolution journey, right? Of the higher self. So I have a sister, a twin, and in a sense, I feel that she started her awakening process, but I can't say that her journey is the same as mine, and a lot of it has to do because we do have two different souls, right? So we
Right,
have
yeah.
two different soul journeys. But for my family, it's uh, very new and different in a sense, you know. Because don't nobody in my family operate in their gifts. Like there's gifts that's been passed down through my bloodline, but right now nobody's truly operating in them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense, It makes sense, and it's because they intentionally try to suppress it, because they know we are gods and they fear the day when we wake up, which is soon. um,
Right.
mhm. Yeah, okay, so what would you say the importance of spiritual growth is? Because I feel like in the spiritual community, which I don't consider myself a part of, um, but then again, I don't even because it's like there is in a sense this like sense of spiritual community, but that is like in a sense governed under
Right.
the new age, if you get what I mean. But yeah, like I
Hmm.
don't really associate myself with that, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Because it's more or
Um,
less, because it's like,
what was that? Hmm, I think this is not good. I'm not sure if you
or
guys can.
right, it's an existence of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So spirituality, it can have a title based off of what some would say, because they use sage and they use crystals and they meditate, they're spiritual. But for me, spirituality is connecting with divine source, right? Divine source within us, universal consciousness. For me, that's the term of spirituality. It's just who I am. It's I am, right? I am truly existing within myself, whom I choose to say is my higher self, like my light body, right? The light body that grounds the divine codes within me, so I can spread that universal consciousness of love, joy, peace, and happiness, right?
Mm-hmm. Facts, I believe there are two, well, there is a plethora of awakenings, of course, we're constantly being awoken. But I believe, in the beginning, in a sense, there are two initiations or two awakenings. There's like the first awakening, which is in a sense you kind of awaken to the spirituality around you. You awaken
Mm-hmm.
to the reality that's going on around you. You awaken to maybe the media and like the crystals, stuff like that. But then as you
Mm-hmm.
progress, you come to this space where you are then, in a sense, initiated or awoken
Mm-hmm.
into another layer of spirituality, which is in a sense
Mm-hmm.
like the inner verse, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
first you awaken to the outside world, and then and then if you get to the point where you start seeing what is in a sense flawed with the spirituality that's being practiced at a broad level, then you start, in a sense, journeying within, and you start to really awaken, because now as you journey within, you start to understand, in a sense,
Right.
what oneness is. You start to understand what it means, when people say, I am God. It's like, things of that nature.
Right. So because there's no separation, right? And that's the clarity that you have within. Like you don't have to search outside of yourself because it's within you, right? And it's true, it's like levels to it. It's like, and that goes along with the concept of peeling back the wounds of the healing, the inner child that needs to be healed. And it's the more you do that, the more you awaken to self, which is, you understand now, universal consciousness. And you are the stardust. You are the minerals of the ground. You are that crystal, that you meditate with. Like you start realizing you are energy, and you can transmute energy. You can shift energy. You can
That's
manipulate
so
that energy.
dangerous.
You know what I mean? So, and I feel like that's like the aspect of spirituality,
Exactly. And it's like summer 2019, I lost all my crystals because they were thrown away, right? Like literally all of them. I had no crystals. And through that process, I started to realize that the universe is trying to teach me and show me that the power, in a sense, was never within the crystals, or more or less like I wasn't understanding what crystals were, because it's like some of us, when we awaken to crystals and things of that nature, we start collecting, we start to think like, oh, this rose quartz is gonna give me more love, or this amethyst is gonna help me connect to the astral realm, this lapis lazuli is gonna make me smarter, yada yada yada, and I was sitting there and I realized I was doing that. I was, in a sense, putting all of the power within the crystal, and then I started realize that holy shit,
Right.
like now I see it as a collaboration. It's a collaboration between me and the crystal. But yeah, in that point, I started to realize, like, holy shit, the energy within of the crystals was within me, and I really don't need
Right.
the crystal to conjure up that energy. Like when I do my rituals, like I literally feel like I'm the most powerful crystal in the room. I like, yeah, because it's reality.
Right. You're like, you have that intelligent source within you, right? And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the amazing part about the crystals, especially like the crystal quartz, right, or the Lemurian crystal, it stores that hidden knowledge, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like if you're trying to tap into that hidden knowledge within you, like it's a partnership, right? Like you said, it's a collaboration between
Exactly.
you and the crystal. Because it's true, like you might start giving the crystal all the power, right? You're like, oh my God, I gotta have this crystal with me, you know, if I'm trying to channel this energy. But really, it's the source to help you understand that you are that energy, and that crystal help pull that energy out of you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one of the reasons I do use crystal healing as a tool, because when you, especially like healing with crystals for beginners, right? Because it kind of helps channel the chakra system that you were speaking of. You know, you're able to resonate with that space more. A lot of times when you have that visual aid, it's just like using the crystal Mandela cards, you know, in tarot, like the angelic guidance or the ascended master, because I have one. It's crystal Mandela, and it has the ascended masters and the archangels and the goddesses. So it just kind of helps you channel that energy, right? Just really like dig within yourself. And the Mandela cards actually have like the different crystals on it, but it's not actually the crystal. But the fact that you're able to channel the crystal energy within you, you know what I mean? You don't actually necessarily have to know what the crystal actually feel like or look like, but you channel the energy of the crystal.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's reflective in a sense within you, you know. And in a sense, this is why working with colors is very powerful as well. I
Very
guess
much
I like,
so.
yeah, let me see. Since we, we are on the subject of spiritual growth, I guess I like to, this is a beautiful subject because I do a lot of, I do a lot of energy work, a lot of spiritual practices on a daily basis. And what people don't understand is it's the ritual, it's the repetition, the constantly meditating or the constantly chanting and mudras, mantras is it's what builds that in a sense, spiritual growth essence, if that makes sense. So, me every day I have a routine, right? And I can do this because I have a Virgo and ascendant, so I'm just routine oriented. My Venus is also in Taurus, but my Virgo ascendant is more of the reason why I do this.
Yeah.
Yes, I can be, very, very routine oriented and do things in a sense in a routine fashion. So with me, every day I wake up and I go to the park. Then I work out, like do some push-ups, sit-ups, just full body exercises because I it's important that we take care of this physical body because it is the apparatus, it is the apparatus for us to in a sense hone into our spiritual gifts, if that makes sense. So yes, I do that, and then I do breathing exercises in which I, in a sense, envision myself literally because the breath is prana, the breath is called, it's like energy, literally. And I do these breathing exercises and I end with a breathing exercise that literally is meant to, in a sense, allow me to get closer to source and feel its energy, if that makes sense. And then I close that off with doing like chantings, mudras, and I said mudras, but I'm going to say mantras. Yeah, mudras and mantras. And yeah, and so, I do like certain chants for the planets. Like, for example, today is Wednesday. So I was doing a chant to, in a sense, to, I guess, express gratitude for the day, but to Mercury. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking all of, doing my little chant for Mercury and thinking all of the gods correlated to Mercury, correlated to wisdom. And then every day, I do my, like chakras. So I do like mantras that are connected to the chakras. When I'm at the root chakra, I do my mantra for the root chakra. I use the seed sound, so like lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, yada yada yada. So I do the
Right.
lam, and then to end it, I say like I am the earth within me, I am the earth around me. So I'm connecting with the earth because the root chakra is the earth element, if that makes sense. And it's like
Right.
I do this repetitively, and today I did it right, and like the connection was so deep because I'm already connected to the earth. It was like the connection was so deep, and I like activated my earth, like my earth chakra because the root chakra is connected to yes the earth. But, we have a specific chakra that is like the
Mm-hmm.
earth chakra, if that makes sense. And it was like you activated it, and
Right.
they were just telling me the earth was just telling me how now it's like in a sense I'm always gonna be connected to the earth, grounded to the earth, yeah, you know, and I was like, that is so cool. Like,
Right.
dang, yeah, like, you know, because these
Mm-hmm.
spiritual workings, if you do them repetitively, they're worth it, you know. This is why, oh my God. I guess I just want to share so much,
Right.
so don't mind me. Okay, so check it. I'm a Gemini, you know, I have 5 planets in Gemini, so I'm very connected to the air element. And when I go to the throat chakra, you know, the throat chakra, wait, no, the heart chakra is its element is air, you know. So I, in a sense, give praise to the air, connect with the air element. And yesterday, it was super windy outside, and I was literally like sitting there, like doing mudras and chants and like stopping
Mm-hmm.
the wind and like playing with the wind, like literally, right? Like I would stop the wind and I would like tell it to go and it would blow and it was like insane, right? But it's like these things happen
Right.
because of the
Right. It was
spiritual.
with that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But these things happen, you know, because of that discipline of the repetitiveness of the rituals that you do or I do.
Right. It really grounds you. And like I'm really big on like the mantras, you know, because I really feel like it aligns you, you know, your subconscious and your conscious mind. And you're able to work through, like if you're constantly having racing thoughts, you know, you start aligning yourself with those mantras and you know you set that discipline within self, you'll actually see the difference, you know, of how you know you can actually be present in the moment and actually govern your thoughts, you know, at all times. It is no longer like a job, you know, it's just like second nature, now first nature. Like so I love mantras, you know, and I will listen to them in my sleep, you know. I listen to vibrational tones in my sleep just because it really helped me align those chakras. And sometimes I kind of use it as a cheat system. You know, if I didn't get that meditation in for that day, I'm able to meditate in my sleep. So it makes a difference. And yeah, the star chakra, that's really big to like really ground yourself through earth. And that's why I love to do my videos outside. Like today is cold, but I'm still doing this video outside because I just feel different when I'm outside and I'm by the water. So you know,
Yeah.
I feel it's just, you know, just connecting with Mother Earth, you know, it does something to you.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, and if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see that literally, like, I only had like I think 3 videos that I did indoors, but most of my videos I was doing like outside, outside,
Right.
outside. But then,
I see.
yeah, you know, and like of course that's beautiful because every like when I go to the park, in a sense, I have a tree.
Hmm.
I have a tree, right, and I sit on. And you missed out. Wait, I don't know if you were there or not, but you know, we did this a ritual, right? And you it was like a group meeting, and we did this ritual, right, with our reader,
Oh
right?
no, I
And
missed it.
you missed it,
I
right?
missed it.
And
Yeah.
on that, you know, on that ritual, we were connecting to like um in a sense prosperity, right? And
Hmm.
abundance. And it was like trees. This was the theme of vegetation, things of that nature, right? And when I went into my space, you know, I was surrounded by a shit ton of trees. So
Hmm.
naturally, you know, I have a lot of friends that are trees, and it's like even when
Hmm.
I
I
go,
love I love trees. I love talking to trees. I love hugging a tree. I just love trees. You know, because it reminds me of the tree of life, right? Because we're all connected, right? We all come from that one tree. So it's the knowledge that the trees store, like the source within. You know, it's just so amazing. So I love trees.
yeah, exactly. On my video, you know, I have this video, and it's titled the secret life of the trees." You know, the keepers
Hmm.
of knowledge or something like that. You know, but yeah, you know, the
Hmm.
trees. One, they're very, very ancient. I think they're triads. I forget triads or something like that. Their spirit or soul. But yeah, you know, they are like very ancient. Even
Hmm.
they in a sense are more ancient than the earth herself. But like they've been here since the beginning of the earth, you know, so they've accumulated a lot of wisdom. Like my first time tapping into the trees, I remember I was like outside at nighttime around 8 o'clock and I was just walking and I just started feeling things from the trees, you know, so I tapped into it, right? And like they came to me, but it was like, you know, they were just in the beginning, um, I guess they were just manifesting to me in specific avatars, and they were just telling me how they were their energy, right? So they can, in a sense, come to me however, right? But yeah,
Right.
so I continued to talk to them, and they were just telling me how they are like, I don't know if the term Liberian would be right, but they were just telling me how they keep ancient wisdom and knowledge, and they know a lot, and they were just telling me how they are opening doorways and gates for me as well to get it, you know.
Mhm.
And it's like for real, like sometimes when I need advice,
Right.
I literally go to a tree, literally go to a tree,
Right.
and also the thing about the trees is they are portals, right? They are portals, and they have this ability to channel higher information. It is said that for every tree on Earth, there's a corresponding star, you know. Yeah, and I think that is very interesting. Yeah, so they have this ability to hone in and channel high energy information from, you know, light codes and things of that nature and ground it down to this earth, you know. So in a sense, like the trees, they are they're helping the earth in a sense ascend or whatever. And it's like the trees, they're kind of also I forget the name of the nerve thing, but like you know, because the earth, she's an organism, and the trees are part of her nervous system, I guess you can say. Mhm.
Right. Right. It's part of a nervous system, right?
Yeah, the
And
trees.
and I never thought about the trees actually being aligned with the star system or solar system. Does that make sense? Like that, you just really woke me up to something at that present moment when you said that. And it's true, like right? And the blood that flows through. So
Mhm.
it's amazing how the earth and universe is truly a creation of our bodies when we really think about it, right? It's just one elaborate solar system.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing about the body. It's like you can literally learn anything and everything about the outside world by studying the inside world. You know, the Egyptians knew this. You know, they would study, I think, the pine cones to find out about the pineal gland or something like that. But yeah, you know, and I'm actually making this workshop, right, where I'm going to be talking about the human body, like, you know, the
Hmm.
cells, the blood, the organism, DNA. But I'm going to be
Right.
talking about it from a, in a sense, spiritual perspective, you know. And I think that was where I was going to go. I was just going to connect like the physical body and with the functions at a practical level, but then also at a spiritual level. But I think if I go
Right.
deeper and also throw in, because it's like you can literally understand the creation of life just by studying
Mhm.
the reproductive system, right? Because yes,
Right.
everything is micro
Yeah.
micro reflecting itself.
Right. The micronisms of it all, and then, it's like you truly intrigue me, slowly, on so many levels. I mean, I intrigue myself, but you intrigue me. I always hear like really informative information, and like the information that you share, it's always on a higher level. So
Yeah,
it's a blessing to actually be in your awareness and your presence whenever I'm able to share the opportunity with you. And I'm actually grateful to be sharing a spiritual advisor platform with you as well.
facts, you know, facts. It's gonna be amazing. And likewise, you know, we like, of course, at like a grander level, like you maybe have a similar mind with someone, you know, but me and you, we are like we definitely have like similar minds, if you get what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, that really goes back to astrology. Yo, you know, it's crazy. So when I got into astrology, I got my birth time wrong, so I thought I was born at nighttime. So
Hmm.
when I generated my chart,
Hmm.
the energies in a sense were kind of of course they were telling me I was smart, but they were like telling me that I was smart, but in a sense, from an earthly level, like I had this ability to like look at my surroundings and understand
Right.
it and
Hmm.
like be like smart, like school smart and things like that, right? Because I had a lot of third house energy and be
Right.
very smart, but like accumulate skills and things of that nature, right? But then this year, I think like 3, 4, 5, 7, I don't know, a couple months back, when I was talking to my mom and I was telling her, I was like, I was born on this time, right? And she was like, no, you were actually born at 11:45 in the morning. So I was like, oh shoot, really?
You know, I was born around 11:47 at night.
Damn. But but yeah, so then I was just like, oh wow. So then I went and I put on that time differently, right? And then my natal chart, it
It
came
makes a
up,
difference.
huh?
It makes a difference whether
Yeah,
you're born.
exactly. Exactly. So then I put in the natal chart and it's like my natal chart comes through, but the energy is different now. It's like it's the
Right.
same planets, except my
Right.
ascendant has changed and the houses have changed. But it was
Mm-hmm.
literally like I was initiated into higher wisdom. Like it literally felt like even the energies before I did that really felt like the universe was just opening the gate. And the thing about it is before that actually, because I'm a dragon, like how do I put this? It's like we are multidimensional beings, and at one degree, yes, we are everything, but we, in a sense, have certain aspect of us that we connect with deeply, and that dragon aspect of me, I've always just been connected to it. And that day, I was at a park, reading a book about dragons, and that day, I decided to, in a sense, I was ready to, in a sense, integrate my dragon self with myself, right? So I did that.
Right.
And then it's funny because it's known, that the dragon energy is very, very heavy and dense. So it was funny because the day
Mm-hmm.
when I went to sleep and I woke up, I just felt so heavy and I felt ill. Like I couldn't move. Like I was just like, and I felt super slow, like I just felt like so much was just put onto me. And then I
Mm-hmm.
remember for a whole week period, my soul literally felt like it was somewhere else. And like I literally felt like I'm all over the place. I'm scattered, like maybe like, and it kind of felt like my soul was somewhere else, like
Mm-hmm.
getting worked on. If that makes sense.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah,
That's how I
yeah,
feel when my downloads and like my upgrades.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I feel disoriented and I'm not grounded. I have to ground myself. And it's a vibrational force that you can feel within. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. So then, yeah, that goes on, and then in a sense, I'm more grounded now. And then
Hmm.
I do the birth chart thing, and now it's like I have Gemini in the ninth house. My sun is in Gemini in the 10th house, and my Jupiter is also in Gemini in the 10th house, which is really, really good for my career and my I
Right.
guess public appearance or whatever. Which is
Right.
excellent. And I really always think about this, like how it's crazy how aligned my natal chart is to the life I'm living.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was like I started having ninth house energy, right? Because I had my moon was in the ninth house in Gemini, my Mercury was in the moon, and my Mercury was in Gemini in the ninth house. So Gemini is all about practical knowledge. It's K through 12, right? It's about studying information and having and being
Right.
able to spread it in a sense
Hmm.
from a practical perspective in a way that everyone understands it, right? Now
Right.
Sagittarius, which is connected to the ninth house, is
Hmm.
information of higher wisdom, higher knowledge. It's like occult knowledge, hidden information, information that not everyone has access to. So with me
Right.
having this energy mix, it's like on one perspective, I have this ability to accumulate higher knowledge and wisdom, but I have this
Hmm.
instance ability to articulate it from a way that, in a sense, is very practical or
Right.
Geminian. And I was like, yo, that
Hmm.
is so dope. And but yeah, so it's literally like an upgrade.
Right, right, right. Because it's amazing. Like your planetary chart, your natal chart, tell you so much about yourself. And when you really understand who you are, and then you go back and look at natal chart, you're like, oh my God, like I'm truly doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I am a true communicator. I am a true communicator when it comes to the hidden knowledge and understandings, right? And working with humanity and being that humanitarian, like that's who I am. And I mean, and I saw
Exactly.
your native chart. Your native chart. I saw your trines. they're just crazy. I mean, I have trines, but your trines are crazy. So I was like, look, I was like, look at Soulie's natal chart. Oh my God. So, and it's so amazing. Like you gain like deeper knowledge and understanding, because it's amazing. Like through my awakening, how I start aligning with numbers, right? And in my natal chart, so I'm constantly aligning with 555, and I know my life path number is a 5. And I know I vibrate to the number 9, and my birth date was the date of the 27th. But when I actually looked at my chart, my sun sign Cancer was at 555 degrees. And I'm constantly saying 555, and I'm constantly dealing with change, right? So it's amazing how you start adding things together when you look at your natal chart. Like I'm constantly aligning with 1127, right? So when I see 1127, I know that I'm in that planetary alignment, for that degree of the 1127. So it helps align you with um, your goals in life, right? Like those aspirations. You kind of know like when the energy is working for you and when the energy's not, and how to use the energy of the opposition to work in your favor, right?
Hmm. Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. Um, with that being said, it's like amazing, amazing, amazing too. And it's funny because I was also thinking about this, I think yesterday while I was walking home, and I was just thinking about how like gifted, I guess, or grateful, or in a sense lucky I was, because I understand the stars, and I was just thinking about how that's something that's so like understand and read, know how to read the stars, I was just thinking how that's something that's really valuable, and not a lot of us know
It's
about.
a
But
gift.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
It's truly a gift, and I mean it is something to be grateful for and thankful for, right?
Mhm.
So because not everybody has that awareness and that understanding. So to know that you are here as a person to ground that information and bring that awareness and understanding to help guide others and lead them down their journey and their life path. I mean, it's like truly amazing, and it's something to be truly grateful for, right? Because now you're not stepping into ego, but now you expressing, you show the gratitude, right? Ego don't drive it, but the gratitude drives it, right?
Hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Hmm. Fuck, my bad. I kind of blank, but I really feel like the thing about astrology is it's really wonderful because with me, I got into astrology because I started, hearing people talking about knowing thyself, know yourself, know yourself. But it's like no one really ever says how to just like know yourself. But a lot
Right.
of people are like, but how, And of course, you can know yourself by sitting in meditation and
Mm-hmm.
coming to the realization. But there's also tools like numerology and
Right.
astrology. So I got into astrology and I started studying it, and
Mm-hmm.
like literally, I would advise anyone watching to get an astrological reading.
Mm-hmm.
For me, or of course another astrologer, because it's like the thing about it is when I got into astrology and breaking down my natal chart and everything, it was when I started truly to awaken. Because astrology tells you about your gifts, your weaknesses, and things of that nature. And another thing I do is I also study esoteric astrology because I understand that, we as humans, we're not precisely fixed. Like, you're not going to be, because the thing about esoteric astrology is, well, esoteric just means hidden, right? That's all esoteric means. The thing about
Right.
hidden or esoteric astrology is it's like the aspect of Scorpio when it ascends. Like, because Scorpio has 3 ruling planets, right? Its cardinal or its first initial ruling planet is Mars. Then its second, ruling planet
Right.
is Pluto. Like at first Mars, because in a sense Pluto, I mean, Scorpio can just be reckless and be
Yeah. Don't
lustful
Pluto
and
have like
just,
moons?
huh? 6 moons?
Is that Pluto see like 64 moons?
Damn, what the fuck? What the fuck? No, it's because it's like, the
trying
thing
to
is,
remember. Can't remember if it's Pluto.
yeah, yeah, I think Jupiter has a lot of moons too. I think it's more than 64, I'm not sure.
It
But
is Jupiter, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I think
because
it's
I know
Jupiter.
Jupiter has a lot of moons too, but the thing is, like, when you understand what a moon is, what a moon truly is, then it's like, it gets crazier, and yeah, like, moons in a sense are one, satellites, but two, they are like
Mhm.
organic hard drives. They store information. Like this moon, it has information that it holds. The other moons have information that they hold, and the moon, in a sense, is also a portal, right? It's like when we leave this when we leave, we go into the moon, and I think it's interesting how we go to sleep when the moon comes up, or when it's nighttime, the moon is up, because the moon, in a sense, is a gateway to the astral realm. And this is why working with moon magic.
Right.
And I plan on doing workshops on that too. The moon, the moon's phases and things of that nature, because that's vital as well, if you know what I mean. But this is why it's so powerful, because when you're working, um, doing moon rituals on a new moon, the moon is a black hole, right? It's like a portal, and it's sucking in all that energy. It's feminine,
Mhm.
and it's just receiving all that energy. So while you are, like, in a sense, expressing all of that energy outwardly, the moon is just absorbing and collecting that energy, right? But yeah, and it's also like when you die, you actually go through the moon. Like, in a sense, the moon is the marker in which you travel out of this realm. If that makes sense. She's
Right. I mean,
okay.
it's like it's so many debts to the planetary system and how it actually aligns up with our body and how it affects us in various ways, and it also it goes in alignment with our spiritual growth, as a person and our soul lessons.
Hmm.
But my phone's getting ready to die.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been probably like
I'm
an
like
hour or
on
so now. Yeah, I guess I'll just close off. But
let me see, I'm on like 5%, so I don't
yeah,
cut off on
yeah.
you.
Well, yeah, it's been really nice talking to you, Joanna. This video has been
Same
pretty
here,
good.
Sully.
Yeah, I do definitely look forward to rewatching it.
I agree.
um,
Yeah.
so
Yes, I
where
look forward to watching it myself. So
yeah. So would you like to, like, shout out yourself? Where can we find you? Like your YouTube channel, and like that, things like that.
sure, yes. So you can find me under dhuwana Intuitive Healing on my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Facebook.
Mhm. So I also want to say to
And we're
definitely.
also uh, mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say to my viewers to definitely go to her channel, because
Go,
we will
go
be
ahead.
doing, in a sense, a separate video that will be on her channel. um, but yeah, I think that's it. Unless you have more things to say. I think another thing I would like to bring up is to
And I
definitely,
look forward. And soon we'll be launching our platform for
yeah, spiritual advisors.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's
Right.
like you
Yes.
keep cutting on and off. But yes,
Right.
definitely do check out our website as well at www.callageinstitution.com, right? Callageinstitution.com.
Right.
Yeah, we offer a
Yeah.
lot of great services there, spiritual services. They are great spiritual coaches, spiritual advisors like myself and Dawana. So yes, definitely check it out.
Yes.
And I will leave a link to the website in the comment section below. But yes, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this to my channel. I'm going to say, but yes, thank you and peace. Have a blessed day, and as I always say, namaste, peace.